Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. Second week that we're in more uncharted territory. Last week we made a declaration, shot heard around the world, you could say, that we were just done with WWE. I think we're both also just done with the fascism currently unfolding in the United States. So it's a very crazy time. Um, and so forgive me, right? Because we've been following a blueprint for so long, and it's very easy for me to know from that blueprint where to depart, what to talk about, this and that. Now I have a place I thought I would begin, but honestly, I just have to share this with all of you because this was nuts to me, and this happened in my state of New Hampshire tonight. Apparently, in Nashua, New Hampshire tonight, which I think should only be like 30 to 40 minutes away from me, a country club was shot up and there were like 30 to 40 victims, and the gunman, which I think it was plural, it wasn't just one person, were dressed in like all black, which I was relieved when I heard it a second time because to become completely honest with you, when this story was first relayed to me by my brother-in-law, I thought he said the shooters were black, and I was only terrified because I'm like, oh well, this far right white supremacist, regime would salivate right at news like that. Oh my god, black shooters at a country club. That's like a conservative's wet dream, I feel like. But no, they were all dressed like in all black. And apparently one of them shouted free Palestine. So it's crazy. A lot's freaking happening. I really want to look up local news sources because I just woke up from a nap before we did this show. But yeah, that apparently happened. And yeah, the world keeps on turning. Apparently, the FBI wants to declare trans people nihilist violent extremists or NVEs. Um, Cash Patel continues to flame out at his Senate hearings. Nobody has any confidence in him, but I'm pretty sure he'll hang on to his job because that just shows he's more qualified to, quote, own the libs. And everything else just continues to be off. Oh, and the big thing that I really don't want to see get buried, just because I think this is going to affect a lot of people very quickly. So, you all know one of the reasons that I rush to get my flu and COVID vaccine. And again, I want to use this platform to stress that if you haven't gotten your vaccines yet, please schedule to do so as soon as possible. Figure out if your state needs prior authorization from a doctor for a COVID vaccine. And if it doesn't, just be like, yes, you are at severe risk. And I would say that being in a fascist country puts you at risk for a severe COVID infection. But at the latest vaccine panel meeting, which was across the 18th and the 19th, um, so just the last 2 days, apparently it was decided to take away federal funding for the MMR vaccine. And so a lot of parents that would just be able to send kids back to school safely now might have to do out of pocket costs for MMR back. Small thing. We continue to see austerity. We continue to see healthcare cuts and this and that. I really think something big is coming as far as just like implosion in this country from the top and bottom. I mean, the 1% just continue to own absolutely everything. And now even the stuff that we thought was safe and kind of secure for all of us, universal, you could call goods, that is no longer the case. Now, though there are barriers to entry even to those things. So yeah, I thought that was a really, really big thing coming out this week that federal funding may very well be stripped of those vaccines, which could change the landscape of how kids even go to school. And so, yeah, that was a lot of political stuff. There is wrestling news as well, but we kind of really did a lot of political talk last week. And so I'm kind of used to that change in tone. Um, you want to react to anything I've said here, partner, or are there any stories that have kind of interested you this week, just politically? I know you've shared some amazing Instagram reels and everything, and I know you've kind of been looking at your own stuff. How are you feeling this week? I guess in the world beyond wrestling,
Oh,
not just.
Pretty terrible. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely along similar lines there. I think I might be a little bit less in the weeds than you, but I am still very much in the weeds. I think the biggest thing that kind of terrified me this week was that the government literally is trying to classify Antifa as a terrorist organization, which then would effectively make being anti-fascist a crime, which is horrifying to me.
Yes.
Being anti-fascist is what we should all aspire to, not something that should be
Yeah.
criminalized.
Absolutely. You know, it's something authoritarian leaders I think have always, wanted to do and certainly always strive to do. Because, the obvious follow-up question is, well, if you're criminalizing anti-fascism, aren't you telling on yourself pretty fucking hard that you are anti-fascist? Or excuse me, that you are fascist.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
Well, the
that's
problem is they
that's
can tell on
kind of
themselves all they want. And like this is an issue that I keep seeing come up is that like people on the right are taking their masks off faster and more enthusiastically and people on the left are like, "OMG, you're this bad thing and you're not afraid to admit it?" And they're like, "Yeah, no, I'm not afraid to admit it because I'm safe now." And the left is like stun locked and they have no response.
yeah. And that's the thing. Like I think when you look at the Democratic Party, which while we're speaking of news, I have to say too, shame on the fucking Senate because it passed unanimously to give Charlie Kirk his own commemorative day, which I think is going to be October 14th, which apparently is his birthday. It might also coincidentally be George Floyd's birthday, which just wow.
I mean, now
Wow.
that's perfect, right? That's literally perfect because all these people who are up in arms about the Kirk death, the Kirk shooting, are a lot of the same people who were pro George Floyd's death.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Um,
George Floyd was not actively causing harm in the world, and he was killed by cops. And Charlie Kirk was actively causing a significant amount of harm in the world and encouraging others to cause harm in the world. And he was killed by someone even more fascist than him, even more to the right than him.
Yes, and that's a bigger thing here. I don't want to get lost either. Which I know in a way is kind of obvious when it's literally the government as well. Like we've always said as anarchists personally, you and I, that the state is a monopoly on the use of force and that
Yeah.
government the way it currently is as a very centralized authority is inherently violent to achieve a lot of its ends. And you and I have kept on this, regardless of if the administration is Democratic or Republican. I've had very like hardcore liberal friends. Like I had one recently, like I think just in the wake of the election, I had to tell them like, well, Joe Biden's violent too. He literally funded a genocide. And he was like, but he was working to get a ceasefire. And then stories came out that there was literally no negotiating. That was just a rhetorical strategy to like appease people. And so it's like, yeah, you and I have always been consistent across administrations. Like, when the state is as centralized as it is, violence is very fucking likely. It's just that this far right regime, it's way, way volume cranked way up. But I think also at the same time, it's the logical progression of a lot of things that it's very hard to push back against because of how centralized the state is. And so yeah, like this being the end game really doesn't surprise me. I think a lot of us knew that, we would always end up here because as others have pointed out, I saw a great article from Jacobin today, which is like a leftist publication, that, for democracy to mean something, especially to a lot of alienated voters, you have to make it mean something. There has to be a material basis, whether it's universal health care, UBI, something. I shared in our Discord a great thing from the Boston Review. And one thing that really excites me about Mamdani's campaign is he wants to do public grocery stores, which has a long history of like socialist struggle to make happen, especially against capitalist forces. I think if Mamdani does win his election, and that's a big if with everything going against him, it's going to be fascinating if he can get that off the ground. But at least he's trying something. At least he's trying to say, like, oh, hey, in a democracy, you don't have to live in food insecurity because we all take care of each other kind of thing. That's a tangible fucking message, right? It's not just this thing bad, which is true, right, in the abstract, but again, you need to give people something to materially hold on to. And you go long enough without doing that. That's why I was angry at the second half of Kamala's campaign. Because in the first half, she was talking about controlling price gouging and going after grocery stores and this and that. And then she got fucking Biden staffers on her team. And they were like, no, no, you got to step off that. You got to step off calling them weird. You need to talk about how Trump's a threat to democracy. And you need to pair with Republicans and pander more hard to the right. But if you're going to pander to the right, you're always just going to vote conservative. In fact, numerous studies have come out that that strategy didn't win any converts. Why? Because you're never going to be more conservative than the conservative candidate. That's why they are the conservative candidate. So I think another big lesson here with all this far right violence and everything else is we desperately, desperately need alternative visions of political fucking life and how we can live together. And I think one viable alternative vision is leftist populism. Now, when I say leftist populism, too, let me be clear. As much as I want it to be my anarcho communism, it doesn't have to be that yet. I feel like a Mamdani and AOC, if they follow through and if they would get the support, could be a viable political mode of life, especially for people that are increasingly nihilistic and thinking, well, we're fucked. I have no path to the future, which I'm sure a lot of Gen Z feel that way when they're increasingly priced out of housing, retirement, everything else. And you know that kind of comes back to the big thing to me, people being priced out of everything in this nihilistic worldview. You look at so much political violence which is happening on the right. Well, the right feeds on that nihilism, except they take it in a different direction of the immigrants have stolen your promised land from me. Trans people have stolen your life from you, this and that, rather than the very obvious antagonist being the ruling class, being the 1%. Billionaires are buying up assets as they depreciate. Then they're going to price you out of everything else. It's always, always, always class war waged from above. And it's being waged from above more than ever. Like you said, Antifa being declared a terrorist organization is horrible for fucking all of us that want to move the Overton window even slightly left. Jimmy Kimmel. I never cared for Jimmy Kimmel as a host. I have my problems with him on a class basis. But I think more broadly, it's now this is a pretext. Any government speech could be criticized. And we know that the government is on good terms with Peter Thiel, whose company Palantir is trying to make that AI, mass surveillance for everybody. So what's the future? An algorithm that if you detect the words Trump and like these negative words, right? Does your post get flagged? Does it get forwarded to the government? I mean, I don't want to sound too conspiratorial, but we know how interconnected a lot of these things are. And so yeah, it's even had me thinking because I'm very vocal on social media. My digital footprint is pretty massive. But it's even made me kind of take a pause of like how I use social media in the future because we are in uncharted territory here. And yeah, Antifa being charged as a terrorist organization and all these like problems that I've just listed, which to me exist in a constellation with each other. Um, it's bad. And I think we all need to proceed differently as leftists and how we organize and agitate against this fascist regime. I'm proud of everybody standing up. I'm trying to find a post from a friend of mine to give some optimism. But while I'm looking for that, I also have to say that I want to go grab my water bottle because I have a very dry mouth session. I want you to talk a bit about things just on your mind and how you're perceiving everything and the implications of, Antifa being a terrorist organization and how maybe we should all act going forward. And if it's giving you pause as a man with left wing sympathies, how you kind of want to navigate this new world we find ourselves in. So I will be back very quickly.
Yeah. I got to be honest, I really didn't expect this to be like kind of TED Talky the way that it's turned into, but I guess I can just roll with it. Um, things are scary. I don't really know what else to say, honestly. Uh, we've got people being, snatched from their homes, being snatched from work, being taken off the street. We've got these ICE agents rocking their masks, masking harder than they ever wanted to when COVID was a threat, when COVID was more of a threat, I should say. Um, I think since this is originally supposed to be this week in the world of wrestling, I heard that Brock Lesnar won his match against John Cena tonight, and I think that is
That's
also really
surprising.
gross.
That's surprising. Yeah, I thought John Cena would win that match.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
If we're talking about WrestlePalooza, who won the EMF sponsored fucking tag match
I don't even know what
and all
that
that?
tag match was.
Well, it was the Usos versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker.
Braun and Bronson won clean.
Okay, so much for that Usos reunion.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
leave it to Jimmy Uso to fail. Although, did Jay Uso eat the pin? I'm guessing you wouldn't know that, to be
I
fair,
don't
but
know
yeah.
who ate the pin though.
Yeah, I don't know why my mouth was so dry, but yeah, WrestlePalooza. I still, on that subject, I really like. If I was cynical about WWE before as a corporation, holy shit, taking that sponsorship and now buying into like pseudoscience and quackery just to make money, man. And I'm seeing from Sean here on our wrestling discussion panel or wrestling discussion channel. It'd be cool if it was a panel, but he said WrestlePalooza was boring as fuck. Shout out to Io and Stephanie. So did they have a match for the vacant women's championship, I guess?
Yes.
Did Stephanie win?
Yes.
I figured because Io is in something with Asuka. So now I'm wondering if that got furthered at all. Huh.
I am not aware. You know what
Well,
else happened
either way,
today though?
what else happened today?
All Out.
Hell, I don't know fucking dick about that. I didn't even know that show was happening tonight. I think I saw something early this morning, like that the 0 hour, that's what they call their kickoff, 0 hour was happening. But yeah, that completely left my mind pretty immediately after I saw it. So anything interesting come out of that show?
Yeah, actually, the main thing that I was actually really stoked about was that Tony Storm finally lost her title.
Wait, who did she defend against again?
It was a four-way. It was her, Jamie Hayter, Tekla, and Statlander.
Why do I feel like Tekla won that match? Did
I'm
she?
so glad to report that you're not correct about that feeling.
Oh, that's good. Who did win?
Statlander.
Okay, see, I just knew it wasn't Jamie Hayter. Yeah, I don't know why. I just had that gut feeling, but glad it wasn't Tekla at least. Statlander's cool though. Congratulations to her.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
man,
I
is
like Stat a lot. She's really cool.
I wonder if her and Stokely Hathaway are still like an on-screen dynamic
I don't think so,
with
but
him.
I haven't watched in long enough to really know.
Yeah, that makes sense because I know Stoke is with FTR right now, and he's doing great work there. The little I've watched, he's still fucking hilarious and an absolute king.
Nice.
Yeah, but let's see. Was because I don't know if this is happening on this pay-per-view or on a separate AEW show. Was MJF versus Mark Briscoe the tables and tax match? Was that on that show?
It was, yes, it was on that show.
I'm guessing Mark Briscoe won.
You would be correct.
All right, yeah, I figured because MJF is a heel. He said a lot of deplorable things to Mark Briscoe and this and that. And Wrestling 101 says the heels got to get their receipts sometimes, so that doesn't really surprise me. Um, and then he had wasn't it fucking Hangman versus Kyle Fletcher
And
for the
Hangman did
world title?
retain in a 38-minute match.
That seems excessive, but
People
okay.
were really hyped about it, though. You know, AEW fans liked the AEW product, and that fed them.
Yeah, and hey, that's fair. Honestly, I'm practically checked out of pro wrestling completely, save for Joshi stuff, which I mean, I don't want to take the ball from you here. If there's anything else you want to
No,
report
no,
about All Out,
please do. I
yeah,
have no clue what to say right now, honestly. So,
cool, cool, cool. Well, I appreciate you giving me time to get my water bottle at least, because yeah, my mouth was really fucking dry. Um, yeah, Mirai leaving Monty Gold. I mean, what a shock that
that's
was,
a
huh?
big surprise for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I knew we were going to circle back because I know if it was anything like last week, we were going to talk about real world stuff, sure, which we did. And I'm still trying to find that one cool post that kind of breaks down everything by the numbers, but we'll kind of circle back to that later, I guess. But on the wrestling side, yeah, I thought Mirai leaving Monaco was one of the bigger stories this week, honestly,
Yeah.
because you and I had a great discussion that I thought we would kind of revisit, and especially with more people here. Welcome, by the way, Caster Sales and Super Blue. Wonderful to have you guys here. It really seemed like Mirai was set up absolutely to be a future Monagold world champion. And I don't know because when stories like this come out, and apparently the conversations were very amicable, so credit to both her and Rossi and stuff like this. But when conversations come out like this, I can't help but feel it's because the talent in question, and in this case, that being Mirai, I'm not saying they're egotistical. I'm not saying any of this in a bad way, but I think Mirai is the type of talent that like really believes herself to be like a top act and a main event caliber act that should be world champion and dare I say maybe even an ace of a company. And if you're not willing to pull that trigger on her, she doesn't really have the patience for you. That's kind of the vibe that I get. I don't see why Mirai would leave other than her believing that she values herself more like in that way than Monagold does. But I would counter to Mirai if I was right that I think Monagold does believe in you in that way. They just want you to have your proper time. And I stand by Monagold for having Miko Ono win the 5-star. Or excuse me, the Dream Star. I pulled a Mayu there. I called
Yeah,
it
you
five
did,
star.
bud. That was funny.
Love you, Mayu. Um,
She's wonderful.
but no, I think they do believe. And now I'm not saying I want to make perfectly clear. This is conjecture. We don't claim to peddle bullshit as news. Okay, we're not quote unquote wrestling journalists because that's an oxymoron. Uh, but that's my interpretation. And if that interpretation is correct, I would again just say to her, I think Monaco does believe in you. It just wasn't your time, but I think your time was very close at hand. And I got it. This is a rare case where I stand by the company in this case. I stand by talent. I feel like 98% of the time. This is the other 2%. I feel like Mirai is being a little impatient here, but I'm also going to go one step further. Now that we've had time to think about it, I'm going to lock in predictions that she goes back to TJPW. They're doing more US events. They seem like they're growing. And I think if I'm Mirai, if I'm really convinced that I'm a main event caliber talent, that could carry a world title and elevate a company. TJPW is in that sweet spot where it's big enough where it's not a waste of my time, but still could get bigger and I could like really test myself and my value as a performer for that. So I think a TJPW return is in the cards for Mirai. But what do you think about all this, man? I
I
know we talked about
really
it, but I wanted to reply. Yeah.
no, I do though. I really think that it's more likely that she does some freelance work. And if she does end up landing anywhere, I could see TJPW, or I could see her going to one of the more like real graps promotions like Sendai or Oz Academy, something like that. Um,
Yeah.
I also wouldn't write off the possibility that she just goes back to Stardom. I think maybe she is leaving Marigold because she regrets leaving Stardom, because maybe she felt like she was being booked well enough in Stardom that she could convince management to make her a world champion and making more money there, I would imagine. So it might have been a financial move, which, I mean, if so, then more power to her.
And yeah. Yeah, I really just agree with what you said though in the Discord that Monte Gold, especially with getting Mayu, is kind of in a boom period where their shows are getting more filled up, attendance is increasing, which means more money, and I do think it's got all the right eyes on it right now. And I don't think Monte Gold's made any serious blunders. And again, I do agree with their tournament winner of the Dream Star. I think Miko Ono is a wonderful performer. I do think she has that ace energy about her. And, I feel like Miko Ono is going to sustain the gravy train that Montegold is finally slowly starting to become. And yeah, like it's just a shame because I feel like Mirai really could have been an architect of that era and she could have been such a huge part of it. And I think building a company and knowing that you're a part of that could be such a wonderful part of any wrestler's legacy. But Mirai has different ambitions, and who am I to say to somebody what their ambition should be? right? We all have to live our lives on our own terms, for better or worse. And Mirai is saying, well, that's not it. Like, I want to be world champion. I don't want to be one of the people
Well, but
that
see, but I feel
provides a
like
secure
that
foundation. Yeah,
she's not necessarily like I I am open to the possibility that she left for reasons other than blind ambition and wanting to be an ace or world champion.
right. Yeah, and that could be too. I mean, nobody knows Mirai's reasons other than Mirai, and whatever her reasons, we just got to wish her luck on it. But I'm really curious where she's going to end up. Maybe you're right that she does freelance work for a while, and then she just, kind of gets comfortable in one place and is like, okay, I'm willing to put pen to paper here. Maybe she immediately goes back to stardom. In fact, speaking of departures and stuff, another one, because we know that Rossi also said this woman won't be coming here, is Maki Ito. So Joshi's in an interesting place where we've got high value pieces kind of like, moving along the board. I'm happy to see Maki Ito leave TJ, and that's nothing against TJPW. I believe in Maki Ito, and I'd like to see what she could do elsewhere. But I do wonder, like, does she just try and go to America, or does she, try something else?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
What do you?
actually
Yeah,
interesting because I think to a limited degree at least, it kind of feels like Maki Ito in America has already kind of failed just because of how poor her AEW run went.
yeah,
And I can't imagine WWE presenting her well.
yeah.
So like if she would go to
Yeah.
America, where? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dude, there was a time where I would have been open um to Maki Ito, going to WWE. But I mean, given you and I severing from this company and our reasons why, like, yeah, in one way, I feel like Maki Ito would have never had a bigger audience, but would they really just let her be Maki Ito? I don't think so because Maki Ito, because I've always said, right, like in an ideal world, she would do her entrance at a WrestleMania, and that would be fucking insane. But there's more to Maki Ito than that. There's the crying spots and the middle fingers, and just really the whole story and the whole character of
Yeah.
like this rejected idol become pro wrestler. And I just feel like WWE, given that it's, hyper capitalist dystopia, on fucking steroids. I don't really think they would let her be her. So I'm curious now what Maki Ito does. And really like I don't know. In the pit of my stomach, I feel like this all points to a bigger problem that there really aren't many alternatives in the pro wrestling space. And
Yeah.
this is what happens when monopolies do shit is that inevitably you suffer enshittification, which means the quality of a product just depreciates over time. And it sucks that like even for the Joshis we like that may want to take a gamble and be like, I want to go to America or whatever. Go where? Because you could do AEW, but that could really be a miss. Or you could go to WWE and it may work, but it may come at too steep a cost, or it may just not work altogether. And it's like, well, that sucks. Really, really miss the days when America seemed to have a thriving independent wrestling scene. I feel like it's really, really fucking needed right now. Um, but yeah, Mirai and Maki Ito, two big Joshis that are kind of trying to find a new home, kind of doing new stuff. I know
Yeah,
Mirai's
Mirai
last
is
hit, I
no
think, yeah,
is not going to be a free agent for like another month or so, but apparently
yes,
Ito has been for like a little bit now even.
yes, yeah. Um,
Kind of crazy.
because Mirai's last date, I think, is October 13th, is
I
what I
Yeah,
thought
it's
I
in
read.
October. I don't know the exact date.
Yeah. So that is gonna be, very interesting. I'm wondering what her final match is gonna be. But yeah, that's in my mind all the big stuff happening in Joshi. Again, I already mentioned Miko Ono winning the Dream Star. We know that Mayu is I did see the Mother Gold channel. She's gonna be facing Sarayama Oka for the super flyweight title. Don't really consider that a spoiler, given that Sarayama Oka did beat Mayu in the Dream Star. So yeah, we got some exciting Joshi stuff coming. I'm very, very hyped for it. I know you and I are going to be doing the TJPW show from September 20th. I believe Tuesday at 6 you and I agreed on. I
Correct.
cannot wait for Miyu Watanabe versus Mizuki for the Princess Championship.
Yeah, and that
Really
I do
hoping,
think it's
yeah,
worth noting, just for anyone that's not in our Discord, that we are going to be doing the final three matches of that show, the three main title matches.
yes, yes.
So
Um I'm hoping Miyu Watanabe gets the title back in the main event. I have no problem with Mizuki. I am just a huge Miyu Watanabe fan, so we'll have to see how that goes.
The
Um,
patrician's choice, as they say.
yes, indeed, yes, indeed. And yeah, that's it for Joshi. And as far as American wrestling, literally the only thing I gave a shit about this week was Izzy and Tatum challenging for the women's tag titles on NXT, and they lost. And Izzy kind of glared at Tatum because she ate the pin, and I'm like, this is why Lyra is your only real friend, Tatum, because Izzy very clearly wants to betray you. But I'm still think that the rest of the culling likes Tatum more than Izzy, so I'm still curious how that's going to work out. But yeah, that's all I
Izzy,
fucking watched. Yeah.
yeah. You know, it's funny. I actually didn't even really watch NXT this week. I think that the thing that I watched the most of this week was Raw, and that's just because my mom had it pulled up on her phone and showed me little clips of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was really, really withdrawn from WWE this week, and because of that, I was really withdrawn from wrestling as a whole this week. Honestly,
Yeah. I mean, you and I didn't even watch Evolve from this week. And we do that every
yeah.
week. We just didn't do it because we were too busy. I mean, we also did say that we would talk about like other content media. You and I watched Superman literally last night. Um,
Oh,
we've
such a
watched
lovely movie.
yeah, David Corn Sweat is fucking Superman, y'all. Um, for all two of you that haven't seen the movie, because I know that that was quite a success for James Gunn. But I will say, in all sincerity, anybody that hasn't seen the movie that wanted to see the movie, go and see it. It's on Max, whichever way you can, get your hands on it, do so. I thought it was a fun movie. It was interesting that it seemed like a patchwork of Superman vignettes in a way, with like one thorough thread, like kind of going through all the vignettes, being that Lex just wants to destroy Superman and that whole dynamic. Shout out to Nicholas Holt too. I thought he was an amazing Lex Luthor. Um Really enjoyed him. I enjoyed like how genuinely intelligent he is. I loved, kind of the certain billionaire tropes. You could say that they're just so resonant in our own time, looking at Elon Musk and Peter Thiel. Like they said, for one thing, Parandor, like he wanted to do Luthor Door or something. Like he wanted his own share of the country and the conflict with Boravia, which is very Israel Palestine, because we know that it's being said now that Israel is in talks with the U.S. to divvy up Gaza, and one of the Israeli representatives called Gaza a real estate bonanza. And I cannot tell you how I had to numb my gag reflex to tell you all that without fucking projectile vomiting on the microphone. Uh, um, and so yeah, like them being like, oh, the Lex Luthor cultists want to see him make his own like kind of paradise, in his political vision. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so Peter Thiel with Greenland, because it's been said a long time that part of why the U.S. when they said we're going to go after Greenland is Peter Thiel being like this laissez-faire capitalist, this ultra libertarian, very similar to Javier Milei in Argentina, which by the way is just he's being rejected by a lot of the people. That seemed like his vision, like, oh, I want Greenland as my own libertarian petri dish. So yeah, when I heard Lex Luthor, or that said about Lex Luthor, I thought of Peter Thiel and Greenland. So yeah, the movie was fantastic. A lot of great social commentary. Um, Again, and I really loved David Cornsweet as Superman. I thought Rachel Brosnahan, who I actually knew from Marvelous Miss Maisel, because I watched at the very least the first
Oh,
season of that show
yeah. I think the
with
only
my
thing I've
family.
ever seen her in was House of Cards.
I didn't even know she was in that. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's in.
Which
I
is
mean,
funny.
she has to be in season one because that's the only season of that show I've ever watched.
Yeah, that's great. Because yeah, I never put that together. And I watched the show too. It's just like I guess I completely blanked on that. Yeah, I again
You
know her from
probably
Marvelous
watched the
Miss.
show before you realized who she was.
Yeah, yeah, because I really registered again with Marvelous Miss Maisel, but I think she's a perfect Lois Lane for like live action. She was great, I thought. Um, Fucking, I don't know the actor's name, but fucking Gideon from Righteous Gemstones. I also know him from Santa Clarita Diet, which I love that show.
Oh yeah, you
Um,
love that show.
I mean, Drew Barrymore and Timothy Oliphant. I mean, fuck Drew Barrymore now. She really disappointed me. But Timothy Oliphant, he's what a dream. I mean, we saw him in Stick recently, and God, he's still great. He's still fantastic.
He's
Um,
hilarious.
yeah, absolutely.
He kills
So
me.
he was Jimmy in the movie. And yeah, I think the big takeaway for me is I'm looking forward to how Gunn kind of puts together this universe, and also just made me more excited for My Adventures with Superman season 3 because I'm really missing that show. Um,
Dude, I know, right?
God, speaking of animated media, you want stuff to talk about so that we actually make content.
Dun,
Watch
dun,
the
dun,
Don
dun,
to Don
dun, dun,
season
dun,
2
dun, dun.
finale. Yes. Oh my God. Oh my God, I loved it. Jesus. Yeah, the fucking final kaiju battle and just God, I really don't even want to talk about it too much because I want everybody to watch this fucking anime. And I don't want to spoil shit, but man, it is so nice to have like an anime with a main female character that's just so well written and the supporting cast like so well written. I love practically everybody. Still hate Kinta though. He's
Oh.
my least favorite. Um,
I am
really
honestly
annoying to
surprised
me.
that he hasn't grown on you at all.
No, he annoys me. I look at him as a liability, honestly. I'm like, who the fuck would have you on the team? I will say he did move a little bit in the right direction with me with the backstory, showing how much piloting a robot to fight the kaiju meant to him because he got so bullied for that interest at school. And again, I feel like Dandadan is one of those shows of like, be yourself, you'll find your people kind of thing. You'll find authentic love and that bond. You just, don't give into the darkness, just, be true to yourself, that kind of thing. Which I think is very beautiful. But yeah, he's still got a ways to go for me. But that fucking ending, when I tell you I have watched that ending, I think at least 20 times because the animation of it, just everything happened so quickly. Um, yeah, there was actually a video essay that was going to be done by a YouTuber. I believe the YouTube name is Safeties on Rookie, who does amazing Don 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 essays. Is a huge fan of the anime, and I believe has read the manga, but he tries to keep his stuff spoiler free or only like manga relevant. So if he's talking about an anime episode, he keeps it to the relevant manga chapters. And I can say, actually, I want to just say that for Don fans, and I'm sure you would be interested in this as well, bro, because I know the anime really grew on you, with us rewatching, catching up to season 2, and I know you vibed with season 2 hard. Um, the manga, or the anime that we currently stopped at, that went all the way up to chapter 71 of the manga. Currently 205 chapters are released. So that's actually not
Holy.
bad coverage by the anime. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
It's
I
like
was
a third of the
actually
way
impressed
through
with the coverage.
already.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I think the manga is still ongoing. To be fair, they're just up to chapter 205. I doubt they'll hit One Piece numbers though, so I'm not getting anxious about it.
Yeah.
Um, and then alongside that, I have to give this anime credit too because I thought they had a really beautiful episode. Doctor Stone had such a beautiful episode this week. Oh my god! And in fact, you turned me on to Doctor Stone, so I'd like you to talk more about that. I mean, what did you think of this week's episode of Doctor Stone? Because
This
I
week's
thought that
episode
was
of Doctor
fantastic.
Stone was really all about like indomitable will and hope, and it was really
Yes,
beautiful. Um,
yes.
Everybody's favorite watermelon girl, Suika, was the whole world got petrified a couple episodes ago, and Suika was the only one who got depetrified because she was put in that position strategically by Senku. And this latest episode is basically her struggling to collect all of her friends in statue form, in petrification form, and trying to figure out a way to find or make revival fluid. And she couldn't find it, and there was like several beautiful moments of her remembering her friends and being sad because she felt like she wasn't being useful. And that's Suika's entire character arc, is just that she wants to be useful, she wants to be helpful, she wants people to look to her as an asset to the team, basically. And so when she feels like she is incapable of achieving something that the group is relying on her for, that is like the ultimate low for her mentally and emotionally. And so there were several moments in this episode of her like just breaking down crying, but each time she, wiped her face and kind of found a new level of determination to get the job done. She eventually finds a roadmap to creating revival fluid in Senku's pocket and attempts to use it in some more scientific ways and fails and decides, fuck it, I am going to just use the poop method. She starts collecting poop from birds and other animals around, and even her own, I believe. And she attempts to make revival fluid in a process that takes a year and fails several times to the point that by the time she finally does revive Senku, it's been a 6-year time skip going into the last episode of this part of season 4. Um, and she is now like basically a fucking adult. She grew up a lot in that time. She's no longer a little watermelon girl. She's now a grown ass watermelon woman. And so now I guess this last episode is just going to be her and Senku reviving all of their friends and figuring out what to do next, because you would have to assume that they're going to want to sail to America and to Japan to revive their friends that are there. And they have all the time in the world to do it because, again, the entire world is repetrified, and they have a huge advantage because the last time that happened, it took 3,700 years for anyone to depetrify, and now they've been depetrified in like I think it was 3 years is how long it took for Suika to get out of the stone, something like that. So yeah, it was a really beautiful episode, and next week is going to be hype as hell, and then we're going to have to wait for like 4 months for another episode to drop, and it's going to be a really long wait, but not as long as the Don wait. I'll give you that, bud.
Yeah, Dawn to Dawn, it's seemingly going to be 2027, and not liking our odds that have been going on here, but I will try. I will try to endure for that fucking show. It's that good. But I will say for myself about Dr. Stone, I thought it was so beautiful, and I was shocked the ending line because first of all, it was animated beautifully. Suika hugging Senku when he broke out of the stone, and just the smirk and him saying thanks, Suika, and this and that. And he ends it with, "It only took you 7 years." So
Was it 7?
Suika, yeah, he said 7 years.
Oh
Yeah,
my god, I thought it was
yeah.
6. Yeah, holy.
No, 7 years, 7 years. Which is crazy.
It
Because
is.
now Suika has aged up with the rest of the group because they're gonna stay the same age because they're, encased in stone. And yeah, just gonna be very interesting how they play the final episode before the hiatus. But yeah, I mean, animation just continues to do absolutely beautiful fucking things. I gotta say, for me personally, me and the family finished Pantheon, which apparently it was only 2 seasons because high concept sci-fi animation just gets told to go fuck itself. I am so sorry to all Scavengers Reigns fans and Pantheon fans, and I could speak for them because I am among you. Um, that these stories don't really get to be told. Now, Pantheon, I think, got to have more of a roundup than Scavenger's Reign. I mean, Scavenger's Reign, it was literally only one fucking season. Unless you're going to be a self-contained story, which they didn't want to be. How the fuck do you wrap that up? Spoiler, you don't. And I just really hate that people just can't make their art and that their art has to be deemed popular to be able to continue or of any kind of platform or whatever. It just, I hate it. And I hate both Max and Netflix for not wanting to continue that. And as far as Pantheon, that started on AMC Plus, but again, great show. Dealt with a lot of concepts. I will say the finale was a bit trippy for me. So in essence, Pantheon is about this future where there are these beings called I guess you eyes like uploaded individuals or whatever. So versus embodied humans. I say versus like it's like this whole antagonistic thing, and there's definitely like prejudices and fears there, but it's more like UIs represent the future, but humans are kind of like, do I really want that? And then there were questions about like, shouldn't we all just have a natural death and have a time when we die? Because the whole upsell of UI is, well, you never have to age, you never have to die, any of that stuff. And explored a lot of great themes. I enjoyed a lot of characters. Sad to see it just end. Again, the ending was trippy and surreal as hell. I'm still kind of wrapping my mind around it, to be perfectly honest with you. but I enjoyed the ride for what it was. Again, we already talked about Don to Don and Dr. Stone. So yeah, I love animation. I think it's doing great stuff. On the lighter side, we're watching Digman currently. I know we need to get back into that. That's an Andy Samberg animated show about a archaeologist in a world where archaeologists are like celebrities, and it's pretty funny. I'm enjoying that one. So it'll be fun when you and I get back into that one. And yeah, just good stuff there. We also watched the latest Peacemaker this week. We crossed the halfway point for this. Actually, we're over the halfway point because this is episode 5 we watched this week.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, you sent me a great video breakdown on Peacemaker that yeah, this alternate universe where he's beloved as a hero and is so happy there might be one where white supremacy has triumphed because we know that Peacemaker's dad was a fucking racist,
Hmm.
the fucking head Klansman and all that shit. And yeah, the more I think about it, wow, wow, because of the subtle signs. You don't see one black person there. All the flags are kind of furled up, so you don't really see what they look like, kind of thing. And it's like, Jesus Christ, are we really about to be that dark? And then I remember that it's James Gunn, and he does like a bit of anti-fascist, kind of anti-racist messaging in his stuff. And I'm like, oh yeah, we're definitely doing it. We're definitely these last 3 episodes of Peacemaker, dude, are gonna be fucking insane. Um,
Yeah, I've actually heard the exact thing that you just said. Apparently, like pre-screeners went to episode 5 because they knew that they had to prevent people from seeing 6, 7, and 8 because of how
yeah,
much happens in those episodes.
yeah. You sent me that video. I mean, do you think it's true? Do you think that the reason that universe is just that, it's a white supremacist kind of universe sort of thing? Or do you think it's something else?
Oh, I fully
Or,
believe it. Yeah, the whole reason
yeah,
that I even found that video in the first place is because that's a suspicion that I've had for like 3 weeks now, 2 or 3 episodes at least. And
yeah,
because Eric Voss at one point when we were watching a new Rockstars breakdown of Peacemaker pointed out that there were only white extras in the background in that universe, and that's like not an unintentional decision. And then I saw that video, that title, show up on my YouTube in like the sidebar recommended, and I was like, oh, I should check this out, and I did, and it was that. So there you go.
yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, Peacemaker, also insane. Pretty soon we're not gonna have stuff to watch. I mean, South Park is returning next week, which gonna be very interesting, like how they return and like what that show's gonna be, if they're gonna even acknowledge any of the fucking shit that's happened, or if they're not even gonna touch it because they don't want to risk backlash. Although I've never seen the only time I've ever seen South Park quote unquote back down was with portraying Mohammed, and that was only because fucking Comedy Central at the time was like, please don't do this because like, it's really touchy fucking territory. So I don't know what they're gonna do here because they do have fuck you money on one hand, but it is a new world they're kind of operating in. So South Park returns next week, and so yeah, on the show front, pretty soon we're gonna run out of good stuff, but then we'll be doing spooky movie month and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to that.
Dude, I
So yeah,
literally was just telling Gala that I am really up for some good spooky movies right now. Like right now even, not necessarily in a day or two, like today. Like I could
yeah,
pull up like The Craft and watch that right now, honestly. It's just the kind of mood
yeah.
I've been in lately.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. So I guess just on the multimedia kind of cultural side, the only other thing I want to talk about is your girls fucking XG dropping their new song, Gala, which god damn, what a visual feast that fucking music video was. And then
Yeah.
yeah, the lyricism of it. Very technical song. If you guys aren't familiar with who XG are, I highly recommend you listen to them. I don't think their latest song is a bad gateway to them,
I
but
would think it's a great jumping off point. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. They're amazing. I don't really know if there's anything those girls can't do. Just very impressive. So yeah, that was cool to listen to this week. And yeah, I want to say that that's it. I really can't think of anything, at least on that front, to talk about. And again, I already kind of aired my grievances on the political side this week because so much happened. Um, and so yeah, unless there's anything else you could think to talk about, I guess we could open up the forum for questions, but I'll leave
Let's
that
open
to
it
you.
up. Yeah, let's
So
see what kind of questions we can get because I feel like our
sure.
viewership is down. So
Sure, yeah, it may not even be much of a Q&A round, and yeah, then we'll see. So Super Blue and Caster, if you're still there, feel free. But let's see.
I am curious what percentage of our audience watches Don to Don.
Super Blue said he does have questions. Well, we're here to answer them, bud. And Caster said can't think of any questions, so that's fair. That's fair. So keep in mind, folks, we do have Q&A also next Thursday, so that's also going to be interesting. I think that's going to be, like the last Q&A before we really just transition to these weekly Q&As with all of you. So
Yeah.
just doing all that, just because we are in a fuck corporatist pro wrestling and all the soul sucking that comes with it. Although I am happy for Stephanie Vaquerin. I do think she's going to be a phenomenal champion. I'm so glad that in my excitement, I like calmed down and I read things thoroughly and I didn't cut you off while you were talking about Dr. Stone because I thought I read that Drew actually beat Cody for the WWE title. And I'm like, holy shit, they pulled the trigger. But no, that was just somebody hoping that that would happen when I looked at the timestamp of the post and I saw that Cody retained as I thought he would. Never doubt your own face until evidence forces you to doubt your own face.
Your own
Oh, man.
fucking face.
Exactly.
And frankly, in a more general sense, no one should ever doubt John's face specifically.
Appreciate the confidence, but jury's still out. Super Blue,
You're being
why didn't
humble. It's adorable.
wait, Super Blue, I'm not really understanding this question. Why didn't Asuka Io I'm guessing you're either saying triad because I don't know if you're also thinking like Kairi or something didn't main event NXT home like I really don't know what this question was. Um It's because they weren't booked. They really don't have any control of that. Asuka's doing the best she can with her story. Asuka's working so hard on her story. She's like importing it to Kanachan TV or like exporting it, I should say, to Kanachan TV. Even Kanachan TV is doing more, her YouTube channel is doing more kayfabe stuff. Like Kana's really putting her back into the stuff that she's got right now. She can't be expected to come in and be like, I want to be on NXT Homecoming. If Sean didn't think of her, that's a Sean problem. That's why the only superior Sean, the only excellent Sean is the one we have in our Discord. Love you, Sean. Fucking king.
He really
But
is the
yeah,
best.
Asuka and Io, they're not going to be like, hey, give me more work in this economy with TKO that's doing all this crazy fucking shit. No, they're just like, no, we'll just let the assignments come to us.
You know what? God, that's so me coded.
Yeah. Self advocacy in this economy? Get out of my fucking face.
I more just meant, wanting to do the bare minimum.
I meant should Damage Control main event NXT Homecoming? NXT Homecoming already happened, right?
Yeah, it
So
did.
like,
Yeah. That was this
yeah, I
week's
mean, it would have,
NXT. That's why I didn't watch it.
yeah, I mean, it would have been cool if they did, but they didn't, and I really can't say much about that. So, you know,
Is there
I
a
have a
better
question.
go for it?
Oh no, I feel like you were actually going to say something important. I can tell you right now that I wasn't. So, what were you going to say?
I wasn't either. I'll say it anyway though. Is there a better theme song in the history of anime than Don Da Don?
As far, or we're talking about the first theme they had, right? Because I really didn't care for their second
Yeah.
one, even though
Yeah.
apparently the meaning of the second one's beautiful. But I agree, that first one is S tier. But no, I was going to say that I have a question for TKO. How does my ass taste? And that was it. That was
That's
really
a
all I
very
was going to
meaningful
say.
question. Why would you downplay it?
I mean, because we all know that it's not really sincere. It's a rhetorical question. Um, Super Blue, they had a bigger footprint in NXT. Also, is Section 8 getting destroyed in your state? I'm going to be honest with you, Super Blue. I don't know. Wouldn't surprise me if it was, because, Section 8, I understand, right? That's the low income housing. So that, people that are low income, which is unfortunately a lot of fucking people, may not have to be homeless, because especially now that being homeless is more dangerous than ever. But I don't know the status of Section 8 in my state, admittedly. What about you, Ash? Do you know anything about Section 8 in Pennsylvania?
Also, completely unaware. I know that my mom and I signed up for Section 8 like a decade ago and haven't heard jack shit back because the wait lists are so long, it might as well not even be meaningful, at least for us. Thankfully, we managed to find low income housing where we are able to pay rent that is dependent on our income, and that has worked out extremely well for us. Because if we had to like actually find a regular priced apartment to rent, we would probably be paying like 500 to 700 more dollars per month than we do now, maybe even 800. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's like rent is insane right now. Honestly,
Seems like a sign of a flourishing society. We're doing great.
Javaris came in
Um,
with the bro. I've been so out of the loop when it comes to wrestling, and yeah, no, I 100% same. I really, I feel like I'm having a divorce moment with the entire industry.
yeah, same. It's actually wild for me because I'm so checked out that I'm practically at the point where somebody could tell me something legitimately cool happened, like I don't know, a fucking Ishii winning the world title or some shit, and I'd be like, neat, and then just move on with my life. I'm just, yeah,
Yeah.
I really can't, man. I can. Not with all this horrible shit happening. I'm like, talk to me when this fire is kind of under control. And even then, I'm like, I'm 33 fucking years old. I very clearly have other things I'm more passionate about that I feel like I'm not even able to give my all to that because of the situation we're in right now. So, like, clearly I'm not going to give, or I'm not going to have the bandwidth to give or even care about not being able to give something that I could tell that I was pulling away from the last few years. Like this isn't just a sudden thing, right? It's been gradual, and WWE has just made it so much easier with very clearly going mask off, and especially TKO, like especially TKO being like, we need to jack up ticket prices. We'll take any Saudi deal you guys want. Oh, you're cranks that are doing this pseudoscientific garbage. Can we make money off of it? Show me your billables. Oh yeah, that's fucking great. We'll take a sponsorship from you. Like it's just I'm tired of you know what it is, just to put it in a soundbite. I'm tired of money being fucking worshipped in any industry. And like I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. I would like if we worshipped human kindness. I would like if we worshipped compassion and taking care of each other. That would be fucking great. I'd be fucking stoked to be a part of that society. I'd be like, sign me the fuck up. But no, no, that
Too bad you're not allowed to have such nice things.
no, we're in hell. Um,
That's
um,
heck to you, mister.
that's so. I'm sorry, Mike Johnson. Please, don't send me to the Bible study to get whipped. But yeah, Super Blue asked, what is Don Don? Because he said Don Don. It's DAN
Super
DAN
Blue,
DAN.
you don't know what Don Don is? I am going to make sure that you know how to spell it. Don da Don. It's on Netflix and Crunchyroll. It's an anime and it's fucking fantastic. If you haven't watched it, which obviously you haven't, please watch it. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the greatest anime you've never watched. That's how I'm gonna fucking sell it. I'm not gonna tell you a word about it because the premise is insane, and you need to experience it fresh for yourself.
Dude, yes, 100%. That's the cool thing about it is like every word that we tell you about the premise is a spoiler because every like there's just nothing we can say that wouldn't spoil something important and awesome about the show.
Yeah,
All I can say is it's a great show with great animation, a great voice cast, even in English dub. If you don't like English dub voices, usually this one's probably going to be an exception. I know that because of John.
yeah,
And
yes,
yeah, it's got lots of really good metaphors, and I don't want to go any further without spoiling.
yeah. The only thing I will add, and just kind of towing right up to that line, is I also think it's so good at subverting tropes. If you've watched really anything, but sticking purely to anime, like if you've watched romance anime from a certain period, and this and that, and you're like, oh god, are they doing this? No, no, just stick with it. Just let this man fucking cook. Because when you know the backstory of what the creator had to go through to get Dandadan to succeed, and how many failures he went from other series before he happened on Dandadan, and watch that take the fuck off, like, yeah, you're in for a treat. You're in for a fucking treat. Um, um, let's see. Oh, something came to mind. Will you watch that Demon Slayer movie? You know, the funny thing, Caster Sale, like, my family and I, we watched, I think, like the first season of Demon Slayer and then watched nothing else. Nothing else. But the thing is, I liked it. I liked it. I'd be willing to pick up Demon Slayer again. Honestly, though, if I'm being truthful, Demon Slayer isn't on my mind when it comes to me and Ashton. Really, for me, I know he's excited for Undead Unluck in December, the movie that they're doing. Me, the one thing I'm excited about with him that we're already watching, and then the one thing that I would like to do with him next, the one thing I'm excited about is the Chainsaw Man movie. When that comes to America and gets like dubbing and stuff, I am so there with him because I fucking loved Chainsaw Man. Here's the thing, bro. You were talking about Dandadan's first opening. I agree with you that it's S tier, but to me, and I will die on this hill, I think another S tier opening is Chainsaw Man's first opening. That even just
Admittedly,
the
I
way
don't
that
even
it's
remember it. So
you need to go and rewatch it because I am telling you, like, even just the visuals, which I feel like openings don't get enough for their visuals because people are so fixated on the song. And I think the song's fucking great, but the visual, oh my God, especially the way that it ends, it's like two brain cells in a single mind. Just, it's perfect. It's perfect. I fucking love Chainsaw Man. When I know that that movie is like available for us in the sense that it's got both dub and sub, I want to rewatch season one with you and then watch the movie because it's been so fucking long.
hell yeah,
Uh,
I
that
am
that anime,
100% on board.
yeah, yeah, that anime is peak. But then the thing that I do actually want to watch with you is Sakamoto Days, actually, because I know that's also on
Oh,
Netflix,
yeah.
and
I've
I've heard good
been
things.
morbidly curious about that show, but then I saw that DBK ranked it as like mid, basically, like take it or leave it, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's not that good after all. But yeah, no, if you're into it, I would definitely be down to
I mean,
watch that.
I'm curious about it, and I know you and I always like to form our own opinions about stuff.
For
Because
sure.
everybody's anime taste is different. I mean, you know that I like romance anime for God's sake. I'm watching My Dress Up Darling, which there is actually going to be a new episode that I'm going to watch when you and I get off with each other. And that one's going to be very interesting. So, I'm eclectic when it comes to my taste. With anime, I try and be open to a lot of stuff. Speaking of stuff that we watched, I actually forgot. We also watched Elio, which was actually a surprisingly good Pixar film. I thought had a great message about community and finding people and finding like love and acceptance. So Elio was a good movie. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff out there right now. Let's just catch up on chat though. Um, did you watch that Nezha 2 movie? I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
Um,
it's an animated movie from China. It's literally the highest grossing movie in the entire world this year.
I remember. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much for saying that because you jogged my memory big time. I actually watched a double toasted review of that movie, and
Did
they
they
fucking
get it?
loved it. I think that uh, they got it enough that they gave it full price,
Oh
and
wow.
they didn't even watch the first one. That's the
No.
crazy thing. They didn't even
I
watch
think
the
the
first
first
one. They
one is
still gave it full
on.
price.
It's on streaming. I think it might even be on like Tubi. Like low key, like the first one is maybe even more available than the one that's getting all this acclaim.
Yeah, like it's funny because when I heard about this second one, after you jogged my memory, now that I know what we're talking about, I did want to watch that with you actually because I'm like, that sounds fucking insane. Because I even saw some of the visuals from it. I'm like,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we'll
and,
have to
and yeah,
check it out
speaking of animation and just Asiatic countries and cultures kind of taking over, K-pop Demon Hunters, bro, is still fucking
Oh.
dominating. Last I checked, it was still top in the top 10 movies, and it was number three. So it slipped from number one, but still number three after all this fucking time. It's staying power, bro. I have never seen something with staying power like this. This is fucking insane, the run that it's been. How long has it been? Jesus Christ. Um,
I want to say
let
that it was like a May movie, right?
dude, I feel like it had to have been. And you figure now we're in late
Oh,
September.
no. Um
Not that early.
June
Dude, that's still impressive though. I mean, come on. Early June or late June?
20th.
Okay, so later June. Still though, dude, I would say that's impressive. the run that it's been on, the numbers that it's racked up, yeah, like Jesus Christ.
I ain't denying it.
God damn. Um, let's see. Um, Javaris talking about DBZ, bro. Sparking Zero looks fucking legit, but I have my sister's old computer now. I still don't think that has the capability to play Sparking Zero, but I haven't even really watched a lot of video of it. In fact, if anything, it's kind of given me a craving to like reinstall Fighter Z and play that. I want to thank Ashton again for buying that for me. I never forgot that you got that for me. Because yeah, I actually have had Fighter Z cravings because I've been rewatching Super Vegeta beat Cell's ass before he allow Cell to get his perfect form, and once again, it just slips through our
God,
grasp.
Vegeta's such an asshole.
You watch your fucking mouth.
Tell me I'm
Yeah, so
wrong.
you're wrong. Wow, look at that. I did it. It wasn't impossible. So,
You've got
so
some
yeah,
real
it's put me
nerve,
in a.
sir.
You started it. Who really has the nerve? So yeah, it's put me in a Fighter Z
You.
kind of mood. Wow. Um, but yeah. So to follow up on that question, Ash and I have not watched Daima yet, and to be honest, it's not really high on my priority list. Maybe it should be because I've heard good things, but I'm
I
just
haven't
kind of
heard much of
enjoying
anything
exploring.
about it, to be honest with you.
I guess because I run, it's safe to assume that I run in more DBZ circles than you do, and the algorithm
Oh yeah.
provides. I have heard good things, but really, to me, I don't know if you feel the same way, and maybe it's because Dandadan was such a positive experience. I'm just looking forward to watching like new anime with you and just experimenting with that. Honestly, that's why I mentioned
Dude,
Sakamoto
I was
Days.
even gonna
Anything you
say,
want to do?
since Javaris is here, Javaris, have you watched Dandadan? I forget if you're in on it or not.
If you're Javaris, I feel like you would love that fucking anime, bro. I feel like you would be so into it if you haven't watched it. Uh, but wow, everybody ganging up on Vegeta in the chat. Thank you, Ashton. Thank you for the wonderful, healthy culture you're cultivating in our community.
You,
Ass.
do you mean the correct culture? Yeah, you're welcome. Silence.
Fucking. Yeah, it was chugging water. I'm sorry that I'm trying to be a good hydro homie next to you. God.
Damn.
God. But yeah, we're still waiting on Javaris responding if he's watched the anime or not. I really hope he has, and I'm hoping if he hasn't that he's at least open to it. Um, but yeah.
Oh no, Caster. The last Transformers movie we watched was The Rise of the Beasts a couple years ago. That might have even been last year. I don't remember.
Dude,
Didn't
time is crazy.
time can eat my ass.
Right?
Javaris said
He
he's
said I've
watched a.
watched a few.
Go ahead.
No, he just I've watched a few episodes, but since my job is so hectic, I can't get fully invested yet. I can't fully get invested yet. Yeah, no, that sucks, man. I hope there's a day that you're just able to sit and binge it because it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Javaris, you're right, we do. I've heard amazing things, but didn't Marcus even love that movie? That being Cosmonaut Variety Hour. Transformers 1, by the way, in case you
Oh yeah. I don't know if we watched something he done to talk about it. I don't remember.
feel like he really like I feel like he did a video where it came out the same time as a movie that got a lot more marketing and hype, but he didn't like as much as Transformers 1. And yeah, you're right, Javaris. We do need to watch that because I've heard it's a really good, and the voice cast I think was stacked on that one. In fact, let me even pull up the wiki and remind Ashley because I feel like we talked about the voice cast once upon a time for that movie, and of course, so much other content. I mean, you know how you and I are, bro. The content just never fucking ends, so things are bound to get like lost in the shuffle. Um, so let's look at this cast. Yeah, Chris Hemsworth,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Tyree Henry,
We
Keegan
love
Michael
him.
Key. So Keegan Michael Key, Scarlett Johansson,
Damn.
Steve Buscemi, Lawrence Fishburne, John Hamm. I admit that I don't really recognize these people. Vanessa Liguori, John Bailey, Jason Canapisos Alvarez, Evan Michael Lee, James Remar, or it could be Reamer, and Isaac C. Singleton Jr. But yeah, the start of that cast where I'm more familiar is fucking stacked. That is stupid.
Nice.
Um, so yeah, you're absolutely right, bro. We do need to watch that. Um, let's see. Oh yeah, I guess wow, we got a lot out of this actually. Any other questions, guys? Just kind of bring it all back, kind of reorient ourselves here. Because if not, it's close to midnight, so I would not be opposed to wrapping it up. Um, so just want to give you guys a chance of any other questions. Did you watch Nosferatu? No, I didn't, and I heard mixed things about it. I heard mixed things about it. Some people said it was really good. Others, though, said that it seemed a bit long-winded at times. And so, yeah, I haven't really been that hyped to see it. It's not really a priority for me right now to see it, which is funny because I've read the original, like Bram Stoker Dracula novel. My first ever breakout in philosophy was doing essays for a popular culture and philosophy book centered around Dracula. So I'm kind of emotionally connected to the lore in that way. But I have not seen it, and it's not really on my priority list right now. Um,
Has anyone ever told you how fucking cool you are?
no, mainly because I don't see it, but I appreciate it very much. You're all very precious and cool to me, so yeah.
That's very
Um,
validating.
well, your face is very validating and wonderful and a light in my life. Um,
Mutual.
super, Super Blue asked, I genuinely don't know if this is a typo or this is genuinely the person's name. Because if it is, I don't even know who that is. So you would need to help me. He asked, how do you feel about Marto being 40 years old?
Mario just had a 40th anniversary thing that went on. That is pretty crazy, but like, yeah, that does also make sense. I mean, the original Mario games came out in the '80s for the NES, so it's not like 40 years ago. It feels like that's like too much or something like that. Sean, I don't know how much of this you've seen, but they are coming out with a few new Mario things. And I have to emphasize things because half of the shit, really more than half of the shit that they advertised was just new Mario amiibos, which is just super lame to me. But
Yeah.
there is a remake, remaster, I guess, of Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 available now to buy on the Switch 2. I don't know if it's Switch One. It might be Switch Two exclusive. I'm not sure. But more importantly, for me at least, there is a new Yoshi game that came out, or that got advertised, I should say. It's not out yet until 2026. That looks really, really fun.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they
Um,
also advertised the new Mario Tennis game, but that's not really my style.
yeah. Yeah. Sports games, like, in that way, when they really are gamified, like, oh, it's almost like extreme tennis or this and that, it's very hit or miss for me.
Do you ever
I
play
guess it
any
really
of
depends
the
on the mechanics.
street games like NFL Street or NBA Street?
Dude, NBA Street Jam, I believe 2 is to me one of the best sports games of all time.
Oh,
I
that's
like my
amazing. I love that. Because, yeah, the street games to me are like the quintessence of what like a gamified sports game should look like.
oh, you know what? Since we're just doing more of a free-form show, and again, I think we're both still trying to find our footing in this new terrain. And so I apologize because I know when we're just pro wrestling, I usually have a better roadmap. So I'm still trying to find my way. But since we're having fun with this, I just want to kind of give the backstory. So I had a friend named Sean. It was like typical high school guy, right? Like big athlete, jacked as hell, took a liking to me. I took a liking to him, and we developed a very, deep friendship. And he actually introduced me to the street games, particularly the NBA Street Jam. And I believe it was the second one because I want to say that there were two of them. That game fucking and again, this is me. You know me. I've always been very like averse to sports. I've always been a pro wrestling guy. I've tried to get into sports. Even recently, I tried to get into water polo, and I just don't think my mind is built for it. I'm like, because my brain is like, why aren't we reading books right now? I'm trying to do other things and be a diversified person. No, fuck you. And it's a constant war to try and be more interesting. But alas, this is who I am. But I will say those fucking games, man, the soundtrack, the graphics, the gameplay, and it's funny because I always felt like if there was any sport I would actually like, which would be cool because I would have more to bond with Javaris and Sean over, and I think we could pull you in, and you would probably get into it because you might even be able to like make spreadsheets for us, and we could all like see how our predictions go and this and that. Like would be basketball
Yeah.
because basketball always just seemed like a very high energy sport to me and something that I could get into. Because the games of it, I've always enjoyed basketball games. That and football have always been the best video games for me that get enjoyment out of me because the only other sports game I played a lot, well, actually two, Super Nintendo's ABC Monday Night Football. God, that game was hilarious to me.
The commentary?
Just the commentary, well, really just the referee. Like if a player would get roughed up, the sound effects. There's a lot funny about like old sports games to me. There's an old NHL game that I used to play, and I used to just love grabbing a hockey player and just beating the fucking shit out of him, and then the referee being like, penalty box. You go in the penalty box, you fuck. So yeah, very clearly I had issues from a very early age. I'm
That's not
not denying that
issues.
at all.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, NBA Street Volume 2, which I think Javaris came in and that was the title. Yeah, soundtrack was great. Fucking, I loved the announcers being like, "Oh, that's ice water," because I would make like these insane shots. Like, yeah, I loved it. It's amazing how you get sucked into a good sports game for sure. And yeah, I wish I still had it. I wish and now I'm kind of in the mood to play it right now. The only other sports quote unquote game that I love for like soundtrack and everything else. I love SSX Tricky. SSX
Oh,
Tricky was
hell
so much fucking
yeah.
fun on the PS2.
Dude,
That
I have
shit
heard
kicked
so
ass.
many good things about that.
Dude, I wish they'd bring that series back because I think it would definitely have a new generation of fans for fucking sure. Like those games were insane.
Can
I
you
only ever played
imagine
the
a
second one.
2025 AAA version of SSX Tricky?
That yeah. Shut up and take my money is what that
The
sounds like to
fucking
me.
realistic lighting with ray tracing and path tracing and shit, and
Yeah,
being able to see the snow. Oh my god.
dude. Yeah. Fucking yeah. Like, I don't know. That I think SX Tricky and NBA Street Volume 2, fucking S tier sports games to me. So yeah. I don't even know. I feel like we were originally talking about Mario. Oh yeah, I never really even answered that question. To go back to that question, I think it's cool. I have a interesting relationship with Mario. Loved
I
Mario
didn't know you had
64. I
any
think that was
relationship with Mario, honestly.
Bro, if you want to know something, I don't mind telling our audience this. They've known us for years. You guys know, like, I had a rough childhood and stuff with parents was complicated. My parents loved gaming. My mom, especially, actually, really loved gaming. In fact, she still might. I actually tried to get her, encourage her to, like, get a Steam account and everything and get back into PC gaming. I don't know if she ever did because I know she loves playing, like, her slot machines and, those older people type games. You know the fucking ones. But yeah, she loved
Dude,
Mario and
that's
stuff.
so funny you bring up slot machines because my mom recently started getting really into FanDuel Casino.
Yeah, actually, no. My mom's big thing is I think like her bingo and stuff that she
Ah,
loves like
that
online,
see
and I'm
now
like,
that to
okay,
me screams old person.
yeah, yeah. Oh God, I miss her. I really need to call her. Call your loved ones, people, if you haven't talked to them in a while, because I really need to get time with her. But yeah, she loved the Mario games. Her and my dad would stay up like speed running, trying to beat them and everything. My first big connection personally was Mario 64, and what a beautiful fucking game that was. I still love to this day that you just jump into paintings to start a world. Um, and I'll be honest, folks, my one biggest problem or biggest blessing, depending on your perspective and your experiences, is that I really have no filter. When I am stoned off my ass, one thing I love to do is recline back in my chair and just listen to Dire Dire Docks. That is one of the best video game OST. It is so fucking chill. It is a whole fucking vibe. I just love sailing away on that fucking song.
I don't even know
So
what
that
Dire
was
Dire
great.
Docks is.
You need, you know what, when we get done here, because I know you always, you want to avoid copyright, you should listen to it because I guarantee you those first few notes, you'd probably recognize it immediately. And if you wouldn't, it's still a great vibe and it would be, a great auditory experience for you. So I'm going to say you're welcome in advance because it's very chill. Um, I'm going to be honest, I didn't care for the first Mario Kart. The first Mario Kart that I actually ended up
Super
really
Mario
liking was
Kart?
Mario. Yeah, Super Mario Kart fucking sucks. Diddy
Yeah,
Kong
it
Racing is
does.
better.
It's
And
garbage. You know
yeah,
what,
and
dude? Here's my take. Mario Kart didn't get good until GameCube with Mario Kart Double Dash.
you know what? I will let you have it because I can't speak to that. The first Mario Kart that I liked was literally Mario Kart 8 for the Switch. So
Holy
yeah.
shit! Well, that would be 8 Deluxe even then, because the first time Mario Kart 8 came out, it was for the Wii U.
Yeah, so Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I only say that just to be clear, because I haven't played the other ones, so I can only go by my experiences. I just know that I hated Super Mario Kart. Again, Diddy Kong is better. If you disagree, have fun being wrong.
Well, to
So
be fair, Diddy Kong Racing was an N64 game.
but wait, didn't fucking Mario have a racing game on the N64, or was it only
It was called
SNES?
Mario Kart 64.
Well, then I should say Mario Kart 64 sucks ass. I didn't care
Oh,
for it.
okay. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Super Mario Kart was the first ever Mario Kart game that came out on the Super Nintendo in the early 90s.
Yeah. So I should clean up my statement. Yeah, Mario Kart 64 sucks ass, and Diddy Kong Racing is better. And if you disagree, have fun being wrong. See, it's practically the same thing. I just had to make sure people understood what I was saying.
Of course,
So yeah.
naturally,
Uh,
as you
and
were.
yes, as I was. So yeah, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe though, great. And I'm hearing this newest Mario Kart game for Switch 2. Insane. I'm so glad they finally have an open world feature because who wouldn't want to just take their car and just explore shit? I mean, that sounds like something I would do for a good hour at least. Like yeah, really good shit. Look at Super Blue. Oh my god, I never thought we would agree so hard on anything. Mario Kart 64 is awful, he said, and I played it on 50cc. Damn.
That's the easiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir Blue said Steam could force people to upload their ID just to use Steam soon. I'm really not liking all these sites being like, hey, upload your ID for verification because we know things are always more than what they claim to be. And I'm not really liking where this is going. I've had an account with you for years and you need to see my fucking face now. How dare you? Um,
Fucking noive of these people.
I don't. And yeah, I will say Mario Odyssey, which I never played. I mean, when I saw the trailer, I'll be honest, I teared up because that trailer, I think it reminded me of all the warm and fuzzy feelings of being a gamer and just the magic of video games when you give yourself to them, the stories, the worlds. I mean, when I was a kid, I was even thinking about this yesterday. A big part of my sister and I's growing up, guys, was video games. I was actually kind of smiling, thinking to myself how we would try and help each other beat Grand Theft Auto 3. And anybody that's familiar with the Grand Theft Auto games, there has to be one of you in our audience. I'm almost 100% certain that there
I would
is.
be willing to bet that it's
Um,
most of the people in our audience, actually.
yeah, the one level my sister and I got stuck on was the boat mission where you're working for Salvatore Leone and you had to sink a boat used by the Colombian cartel that was making this drug called Spank that they were selling throughout Liberty. So if you sank the boat, Salvatore said, "Oh, I'm going to make you a made man, anything you want." I, of course, even at that young age, always wanted to be a gangster. So I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm serving the mafia. Like, obviously, we have to pass this." Um, if I seem emotional, it's because I'm remembering in another dream deferred. It's okay. Be strong, John. It's been over 20 years. You can do this. Okay. And so, you do it. You do the fucking job and you think, yeah, everything's going to be great. You're in the mob now. You're untouchable. You're untouchable. Every dream now is going to be possible to you. And then you realize, no, 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 it's not. Because really, what they're sending you to do is to go collect a car with a bomb inside it, hoping that you'll blow up. Why? All because the side piece that the fucking Don had told the Don that you and him or you and her were in love, which of course was a lie, but why would he listen to you? I had fucking dreams and she ruined it. Fucking hated that part of the mission. Anyway, yeah, that boat mission was hell. And my sister and I took multiple fucking tries together. And I will admit, because the only thing they give you in the base mission is a sniper rifle. I will admit to all of you, we used the PS2 cheat to get all weapons, and I used a rocket launcher to beat that level. That was the only fucking way. Sniper was way too fucking slow, and there were way too many cartel members. But when that boat sank, God, that was gratifying. It was the same gratifying feeling that I feel like you and I are gonna have when we succeed in the bomb level on Fling Park in Fling to the Finish. Because I am telling you folks, there is nothing more infuriating in video games than a level you can't beat, and there's nothing more gratifying in video games than a level you can beat being overcome. Um, yeah, like I haven't been a gamer in a long time, but believe me, I have very, very precious memories. Games were my coping mechanism. Games were my healing. Okay, um, games are fucking beautiful, and yeah, Mario I think is like a cornerstone of that. And so, happy anniversary to him.
Do
Really
you
fucking
have a
cool.
favorite Mario like core series game, like a proper like Mario platformer that you love?
It had to be Mario 64. I mean, yeah, like
Have you
I
played any
love
since then?
any since then. I don't think so. I really don't think so because I haven't played Odyssey. I didn't play Galaxy. Super Mario Galaxy though was the one before Odyssey that really like enticed and fascinated me. I'm like, this looks fucking gorgeous. What the fuck is this? Um, I've played Yoshi's Story. And that
N64 baby.
yeah, that's fucking beautiful fucking game. And I think Yoshi Island for the
Super
SNES or whatever
Nintendo.
whatever that game was.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The one where
Um
you have to carry around baby Mario.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fucking man, that dinosaur with the schlong tongue. Gotta love it. So yeah, yeah, just beautiful. I don't know. I didn't mean for it to go on a tangent about games entire, but yeah, video games are fucking beautiful, man. I just yeah, what a wonderful artistic medium. All right.
Tavares talking about the train mission in GTA San Andreas.
I am gonna be honest, and I am gonna out myself here. I never cared for San Andreas, probably because I didn't give myself enough to it. I think my sister likes San Andreas more than I did, because my favorite was Vice City. I fucking love Vice City because it had very clear parallels to Scarface, and Tommy Vercetti was voiced by the late great Ray Liotta, which Ray Liotta was
Ray
the
Liotta died?
yeah, he's been dead I think for a few years.
Oh shit, I
Uh,
forgot that he was dead.
yeah, he played the character Henry in Goodfellas, which in my mind is the definitive fucking mob movie. Greatest mob movie of all time. And I'm gonna take our boy Ashton here one of these days and watch all the mob movies with him. And I expressly told him Goodfellas is last. And I love Scarface to death. I think Scarface will be the penultimate one if I'm in charge of like the ordering.
And you will
But
be.
Goodfellas is last. Goodfellas is so good. I think it's like over a 2-hour movie, but I feel like the pacing of it, like nothing is fucking wasted, and you really see what it's like to be in the mob, the highs and the lows. It's a brutally honest film. And because I'm very broken and have a fucked up sense of humor, even the lows make me fucking cackle hard. I've been rewatching clips in that movie lately. There are things about myself that I don't want to admit that I'm gonna have to face eventually, but god damn, some of that shit's hilarious that shouldn't be hilarious. People looking at me like, John, that guy's dead. I know. Hilarious. He had it coming. He shouldn't have squealed. And they're like, wow, I really don't know you at all. Uh, so yeah,
I know you
yeah,
well enough
just
to know what to expect.
yeah. See, you're precious because you stayed. So there you go. Actually, speaking of media and everything else, I'm actually excited for a Batman comic that's set to come out because apparently there's a Batman comic set to come out where like a big part of it is him just beating the shit out of Klansmen. And I'm like, okay, cool. Finally, Batman doing base shit. Yay. Which I know Batman has his defenders, and I'm honestly open to hearing it because I haven't read every single Batman comic, obviously. But I just, the
Oh, I
classism and
know who
all
you
that.
can talk to about that.
Who?
Galatea and Rotten Butter both.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all. At all, actually. Love those guys though. So that's cool. That's cool. Um Actually, if there is any series of Batman comics I've wanted to read, And I really, there have been like a few times that I thought we would just close the episode out, but I kind of like this flow state of just casually talking about stuff, like the stream of consciousness, I guess you could say. If there's any series of Batman comics I want to read, I wanted to read the Court of Owls series. I've
Mm,
heard that's really fucking good, and I've heard that Matthew Reeves' Batman films might be leading up to that. So like, I kind of want
nice.
to see what like all that's about. But then again, I need the bandwidth to do it, and I need the desire to do it, and I'm so locked in on the philosophy and stuff that I'm reading, and also you know, fucking the planet being on fire. But if I ever calm the fuck down, I might be like, you know what? Let's read some Court Owls. Let's get cozy and read some nice little comics, huh? And so yeah, that giggle. You're so fucking precious. I might
Do
glob
you
you
know
when we
who I
go
have
off
that
the
in
air. I
common
don't
with,
know.
though?
Wait, I know this for the ultimate cash prize. No whammies. Is it my face?
You're goddamn right it is.
Bro, I don't want to talk out of school because you know that I think they're fucking wonderful, but you know my friend Carly that I gushed to you about, right?
Yeah.
She pays me a compliment. Now I tee up the fucking ball for her, right? Because she's like, "Oh man, you're so sweet and so brilliant and so kind to me. You know who you remind me of?" Now I excitedly say, "Agamemnon?" Question mark exclamation point. Now you know I'm giving you the fucking win. And she both proved herself to be perfect and also sus when she was immediately deadpan like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh." I'm trying not to let her know that you're murdering me inside. Why are you murdering me? Why are you stabbing me repeatedly when I'm trying to tell you to stop? And then she said that I reminded her of Gomez Adams, which I
Oh,
know.
that's such a compliment.
I know. I'm like, that is such a high fucking compliment. But the very toxic part of me is like, but I wanted Agamemnon though. And so it's a struggle. It's a real crisis.
Oh my god.
Yo, I want to just say something real quick about that. Shout out to the guy that made me fall in love with Agamemnon in the movie Troy because it was played by Brian Cox, who is also one of the best parts of the show
He's
Succession. Which
great.
again,
I love
because
Brian Cox.
Brian Cox, when that man died, like I'm not even like trying to be glib or dark or whatever. When that man passes away, I might legit shed a tear because not only is he a based fucking actor, his politics are incredible. He apparently is all in on Scottish independence. And
Nice.
if he's in on that, I'm willing to bet that he's also free Palestine. I'm like 90% confident he would be free Palestine. So, yeah, Brian Cox, look, if you would ever somehow crash into my home, I'm not saying that I would be Annie Wilkes from Misery, but I would be Annie Wilkes from Misery. And I promise you,
Oh,
it's scary at first, but you would learn to love it. I promise.
I like Kathy
Uh,
Bates. She's cool.
Kathy Bates is cool. Um, so yeah, I think because I'm the one that's kind of kept us here and it is after midnight now, we could probably get out of here unless there's just anything on your mind that you're thinking about you wanting to watch or listen to or anything. Anything that's been on your mind that you want to
I
revisit
have
or
been
check out for
trying
yourself?
really hard to find an anime to stick with lately, and really, I think the one that's really going to do it for me is Delicious in Dungeon. I think I'm going to end up watching that all the way through. I really enjoyed the first few episodes of that a lot.
Want to say first of all that I love that for you because I love finding a show that it's like your own personal journey and then you could tell your friends like, oh, I watched this thing and like it was really great. And yeah, you did seem pretty positive on it when you were talking about it to me, so I hope you stick with it, man, and I hope it continues being rewarding for you. um I think your face deserves good things, so I'm rooting for that, as do all of you. Keep searching. I will say this, and I'm being dead ass because I know last week we kind of ended on like, how do you cope, how do you continue through the world and this and that. I think more than ever, given attacks on free speech and everything, and given what they're trying to control is and is legitimate, speech, which will soon extend to art, because we already know that Trump has been looking at museums to tamper with U.S. history. Support art however you can. Read the comics you want to read. Read comics that you may have even not thought to read, just because it may be out of your comfort zone or a different genre than you're used to. Support art however you can. It doesn't always have to be going to a museum or a local library, although I definitely suggest supporting your local libraries for fucking sure. I should even be better about doing that, honestly, and I've been thinking about that lately too. But yeah,
Piss
read
good,
the
honey.
comics you want to read. Thank you, good sir. Read the comics you want to read, watch the anime you want to watch, listen to the music you want to listen to, because if you don't think that they're not eyeing it, I mean, again, fascists always want total fucking control, and they definitely, definitely want control of cultural production. Definitely. So when it comes to art, give yourself to it. It's fucking beautiful, and it comes in a myriad of forms. For me, I don't read. a lot of fiction, but occasionally I'll get in poetry fits where I read a lot of poetry. Um, and I'm even thinking about doing that recently because there are some poets that I want to check out. But for me, when I give myself to art, that is like why I love anime. That's me kind of feeding that impulse is animation. I fucking love animated stuff. So that's how I do it. And music. I think those are the two biggest mediums that I quote unquote support the arts. So yeah, please do both like the recognized art, but also local art if you could find it. That's also important. So that would be my tip for the week, given that we talked a lot about comic books and music and anime and all this stuff. All of it's art. Art makes life, Nietzsche once said, art makes life, I think, either worth living or bearable. And I do think to a point he's right. I can't imagine a world without music because I realize the music's a huge part of my life. I can't even read something like without music in the background. Like I need that auditory stimulation when I read. Sometimes I could just focus and lock in and music would become an impediment, but more often than not, I like something going in the background while I'm like reading and taking notes and shit. It's art makes a world, people. So support it however you can. Um so yeah, I guess with that said, this has been another kind of free range the world in review. I want to start calling it really. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. I just want to say that I had such a great impulse to say cohort and face, and I reined it in. So I think
I
plus
appreciate
five
you
for
both
me.
reining it in and also telling the class.
Yes. So, cohort and commentary Ashton, guys, be sure to leave a like as you file out. Subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast, even though they really should just say Joshi podcast these days and all the YWC. And in that vein, we will see you guys Tuesday at 6 for TJPW live reactions. Last three matches of their latest show, main evented by Mizuki versus Miyu Watanabe for the Princess Championship. So really hope to see you guys there. I want to see how Miyu is going to swing Mizuki this time. Until then, as always, especially in these times, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, stay strong, tune in, peace out.